Thank you for coming to That's So Nova. Today we have a tutorial for the Aura Rosa Magda. It is a small but cute wristlet that can be used for many things. It could be a nice toiletry bag for children that are going back to school to have their like you know, hand sanitizer in case someone needs an inhaler, chapstick, band-aids, just in case and stuff. I also think it would be really cute for a child to have their Legos or their little miniature toys on the go. There's a lot of things that you could do with this small little wristlet. It's also a great scrap buster, and if you're making bags to sell or for, you know, sending them to friends and family, it might be a beautiful thing to create a small little wristlet to match your bag. Like make the Magdalena and then make the Magda. It's super, the Magda's super cute, and I realized that I don't have any of mine to show you, but at last we're going to create this and you're going to see how fast it comes together. I feel like this is going to be the new wristlet to have. So with this, you're going to need to cut out 2 exterior pieces with the pattern piece. I did reverse applique and I'm making Jack Skellington. If you don't know, I absolutely love Halloween, and Jack Skellington is one of my favorite characters. So anytime I can put him in the mix, I try. You're going to need your strap, your connector, your 2 interior pieces, your zipper, your zipper panels, and your gussets. That is it. There's no pockets, there's no nothing. This is a great bag to test out working with leather or faux leather or any other materials that you want to. So let's get started. The Magda finishes about 5 by 5, so it's a nice little wristlet. Everything you need for interfacing, cutting out tables, what D-rings, your swivel hook is on page 3. Alexis gives a really cool, a lot of history and a lot of education on page 4 on scaling. If you want to rescale a pattern to make it bigger or smaller, she gives a lot of information on page 4. This pattern is for beginners and advanced and everyone. It's a fun little bag that you can just put together. The seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch is top stitching, and 1/8 of an inch is base stitching when it is noted. So we just have our main panel, our connectors, our gusset, our zipper panel, and the strap. So we got everything. Let's start. You're going to interface everything. There's only 4 or 5 interfacings you're going to have on your pattern. You're going to interface it. If you're going to be using a like a handmade tag or a logo, you're going to want to take your circle and you're going to measure 2 3/4 out to find your center. And to find your center, you need to make sure the edge of the curved is hitting 2 3/4, and you can mark your centers. This is if you are putting a logo, and if your fabric is directional. A lot of fabric sometimes comes in different directions, and you just don't want to have the top of the zipper panel and the deers are facing backwards. It can happen. So we're going to gather our main panels and our exterior, and we're going to make them one. Grab some clips, and we're going to baste these together at 1/8 of an inch. I'm using a 3.5 stitch length. And I'm using waterproof canvas because I oddly didn't have any white cotton that I could find. So I was like, waterproof canvas it is. And the great thing is I used all my scraps. I went into my scrap bin to get every piece that I made today. And I don't know about you, but that made me happy because I have a bin full of scraps. And then I just look at it every time like, I don't use you enough. This is the perfect project. So we're going to base this at 1/8 of an inch around. You can do a bigger stitch length with the base. You can do like a 4.5. I'm just sticking to the 3.5. Trim your threads. I'm using thread I got from Waywack. It's Saba Amon 40 weight thread in white. I encourage people when they go to Waywack or Wawak, however you say, to try their many different kind of threads. They have a lot of thread colors and the spools are reasonable price. All right, we're going to put these aside for right now, and we're going to grab our zipper panel. And zipper. Okay, my zipper just wanted to up and move. Okay. We're going to take the lining, put it next. Let me redo this. I hate when the zipper has like a small bubble or buckle. I always unzip and rezip. I don't know why. It drives me a little mad when my zippers are not lining up. Oops. Put your zipper pull onto your 7-inch zipper. There we go. And I'm going to base 1/8 of an inch onto the lining. You can use a zipper foot. I'm just using my Teflon foot. Then you're going to sew this right sides together at 3/8 of an inch. This washi tape is my 3/8 of an inch mark. You could pop a few clips in there. Try to have the needle down when you reposition your zipper pull. We are going to now, I'm going to take the waterproof canvas. The waterproof canvas I got at Fabric Wholesale Direct. The white and the striped. Tim Burton wrote The Nightmare Before Christmas, and his character, for some odd reason, like Edward Scissorhand, Jack Skellington, even Sweeney Todd, and all the movies that he did, they all have he's really seemed fascinated with black and white lines. Even if you look at like Beetlejuice, he has a lot of black and white lines. So I wanted to keep it that fashion. 1/8 of an inch top stitch. And we're going to do it on the other side. We're going to base. My husband's looking at me like, I don't know. It was funny. Like, what are you doing? That came together fast or something. We're going to base this down. 1/8 of an inch. You can pop a few clips in if you wish. It's better to pop a few clips than to be like me, who eyeballs everything and then I get mad if my zipper panels are not together. It's a never-ending process. We all have our Achilles. That's mine. Pop a few clips in here. You're going to go 3/8 of an inch, right sides together, raw edge touching. Do a couple of back stitches just to secure the stitch. And then I'm going to put the needle down to move my zipper pull. A few stitches to go back, lock in that stitch. I'm telling you, I'm letting you know now, you're going to see these all over Facebook and Instagram because they're cute as a button and they're fun to make. And it's definitely a scrap buster. I can see you giving this, like, if you do Halloween, making like a Halloween pumpkin one and filling it with candy for a kid. I think that would be awesome. I can see it for holiday gift exchange when like you have to get a $10 item, but instead of wrapping it in a box and making it out of someone's favorite, you know, theme fabric, like it'll be like rainbows or blue and just whatever, you can make it. It'll be a really good gift exchange. I think the possibilities are like endless. Okay. Trimming threads. Now we're going to get our gusset panel. I'm sorry, we're going to put, not our gusset panel, we're going to get our connector. And your 1/2 inch your D-ring or rectangle ring, whatever you have on hand. I'm using some waterproof canvas. And I'm going to fold this in half. And I'm going to do a top stitching 1/8 of an inch. Now, to secure, when you have like a 1/2 inch, you can put ribbon or a little piece of Decaville Light in there, and it can help reinforce it if you're concerned with that. But because the bag is fairly small, it can't carry like a bowling bag where it should be popping out. I also see my husband thought it would be cute if I put this on my daughter and get a long strap, and it could be like a hip pouch. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a brilliant idea, because it'll be super cute. So we're going to, we did the top stitching. We're going to leave a 1/2 inch tail. So what I'm going to do is grab my ruler. Yes, I'm using a pen because this 1/2 inch line you will not see because it's going to be sewn on. Okay, so if you can tell the way where the zipper is going towards, the pull's going towards, that's where we're going to put our connector. I'm going to base that on at 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to put a few back stitches in it too. Don't cut off the tail ends, just trim your threads. Then we're going to grab our gussets. This part is really important for you to focus on. This panel is not going to fit absolutely perfect. It's meant to have a little bit of a wiggle room. It's all part of the process. So just breathe and it's going to come out fine. There's also beautiful information about cutting the little lining a little 1/8 of an inch shorter if you want an even nicer clean look. We're going to base this at 1/8 of an inch. And then we're going to grab the lining. We're going to do this at 3/8 of an inch. Back stitch in the beginning and the end. Then we're going to trim away the excess, only trim away from the excess exterior fabric. So that way I'm not trimming the tail, I'm just trimming underneath it. So that way it can help reduce bulk. I'm going to trim this side and top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. All right. We're going to do this on this side as well. I probably promise you, I feel like I trim my threads and then they just come back like thread Montezuma's Revenge. Let's see. We're going to now base this down at 1/8 of an inch. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to bring these forward. I'm going to put them together and do it at 3/8 of an inch, so that way when I trim my exterior, it's not a whole lot of, nope, I'm just going to base this down at 1/8 of an inch. I'm basing, you're seeing right sides up, and I'm having the lining come up. And let's see, 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Then we're going to trim only the exterior. That was so much easier doing it that way. Okay. Why do I have to make things difficult, Genova? We're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Okay, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Then we're going to, do not skip this step, base all the way around at 1/8 of an inch. I know it's like, oh, let's get to the other stuff, but basing it ensures that the lining doesn't move. The exterior all is in one piece, so that way you won't have to look to see if your fabric is all tucked in. Again, remember the gusset zipper and the zipper panel are going to be a little bit slight difference from each other. It's designed to be that way. Okay. Trimming threads, trimming threads. Okay. 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Trimming threads. All right. So we based it. We're going to turn the right sides in, interior out. We're on page 40. We're going to find our centers. What I like to do is I like to clip Now this is really important if you're not doing like a solid and you have a directional fabric, to make sure. If you have a solid, you can just go ham, you'll be fine, because it doesn't matter which way the panel direction it goes, because it's a solid material. All right. So I always start with my the focal point. It's important to me to make sure that's on right, because if I have to remove stitches or anything, it just makes me upset when I can. We're going to clip. Alexis really makes zipper panels that fit, where you don't have to clip into anything. They just fit. Just pulling it up. All right, so we have Jack Skeleton in there, and we're going to base this at 1/8 of an inch. Again, you can staple instead of using clips. I'm stubborn. I do use the staple sometimes. It just, I don't know, when something's perfectly round, like clips just work better for me. You gotta figure out what works best for you and do it. What is that old saying? What's good for the goose isn't necessarily good for the gander. This applies with sewing too. All right, I just realized I did not cut out binding, but that's not going to be a problem because I always have binding around somewhere. Ta-da! This is some cheap stuff that I got from, say, Amazon 2 years ago, and I use it a lot. All right, so we're going to fold in one part of your binding, and so that way raw edges are encased. I like to actually start at the top because when you open up the thing, you never see the top of the where the binding meets. So that's just my personal preference. We're going to baste all 1/4 of an inch. Back stitch. Now you can clip. I just kind of, it's bias tape, so I kind of just work around it a couple stitches at a time. I'm gonna get this loose thread. Okay, so what I do right here, I'm going to put the needle down, and I am going to extend this past where I see this line at, and I'm going to kind of make where they're supposed to bind. Folding it over too. All right. Trim threads. We're now going to, on page 14 of we're going to turn this around so we bind bottom, I mean the inside. So I'm just going to clip it. Okay. Now, you can go many different ways. You can go, I'm going to go circular, but you could go from the top and do 3/8, but yeah, I don't trust my stitching that much. So we are going to kind of shove it in, get to the 3-inch mark, and stitch. I like to use a stiletto at this time to pull the fabric nice and taut. We're at 3/8 of an inch. Take your time. It's like dancing. You gotta get in the rhythm of it, and then just trust your machine, trust the sewing process, and it's all gonna work out. And we back stitch. And we're going to trim our threads. If you want to, you can flip this out real quick and see like the front, and like it just feels good. You get to like see inside. You can flip it out. But I'm going to add our next panel because I want to show you how fun this project can get. Again, you can use staples here. See, if you have a free arm in your domestic, this would be good too, because you can just kind of like just get into the interior of the circle and let it hang so that you're not holding it up. But it works if you have a flatbed, as you see. So now we're going to chop this. We're going to base this down at 1/8 of an inch. You could just flatten it and go all the way through. I'm just going to go take one of these clips off and kind of have it go in a circle motion. It's definitely a trust process with this. Make sure there's no wrinkles underneath of the stitching line. Just constantly turn. I just thought of another idea. What if you put little straps on this and put it for like someone's stuffed animal or bear, and it's a backpack? Just giving you some ideas. At holidays, you can have like a nice holiday print, or like for the like the 8 crazy nights or whatever, maybe having each day on different fabrics and having the gifts in them individually.
How about making 12 or 24 of those?
Oh, for doing your own advent calendars. And
each one has a different gift inside.
That would be really cool too. So we have this. We're going to grab our bias tape, And we're going to open up this side, turn this over, and we're going to start. I like to start at the top. And I'm going to open up my zipper because it helps when you're trying to like squish down your bag. Because that's exactly what you're doing. It's going to be okay, I promise you. We're going to go 1/4 of an inch all the way around. These would be cool for race cars too. Crayons. Sorry about that. That's my father-in-law calling. And let's see, we're almost there. Ooh, if you have a friend that grows plants, you can make it like this plant kind of fabric, and then put like special seeds that you think would help their garden. I think that would be nice too. Wonder clips, the clips that I'm using, that will work perfect with it. I'm getting closer and closer. I'm going to do a couple more stitches before I do the binding. I want my needle to be down, and I want the binding to match, so I'm just going to snip that. Let those two ends close to each other. And just back stitch. Let's trim all these threads. We're going to bring this around, making sure you caught everything. It's like a little drum. And we're going to flip it. Okay. And I'm going to stick it underneath this foot. I'm just going to kind of hold it. It's going to hold by itself after the first couple stitches, but just make sure you're sewing this part at 3/8 of an inch. Use your stiletto, not your finger, for any areas that you feel like is puckering or rippling, and just all together just to help guide. Back stitch. We're going to trim the threads. Now we're going to kind of burp this. So what I do is I like to fold in the zipper panels the right way first, and then I kind of just squish it. Just squish it good. You can hit it with a blow dryer or some steam on from your iron, and it makes it soft and pliable for a moment. Especially if you have like arthritis or you had a hand injury, like that will be best. It's not a bad bag to turn at all. Okay, you're gonna push out the binding. You can get a foam tool or a chopstick or whatever you have to help make your circle even better. This is cute. That is super cute. I'm sorry, I'm like, this is super cute. Okay, so our last thing to do is our strap. It's 2 inches. Fine. Make your center. We're going to sew this. It would help if I put the swivel clasps on there. So yeah, do that first. And so I'm going to slide my swivel clasps on. It's a 1/2 inch, so you're going to have to kind of thread it by folding the fabric in on itself, and then unfold the fabric to sew this 3/8 of an inch. Okay. So we're going to snip a curve into the seam that we just made, so that way there's no bulk. And then we're going to take off some double-sided tape on one side and match it. Try to have like a 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 inch of a gap so that the fabric lies nicely when you're sewing. Let's see. This is some sticky tape. You just have to maneuver it. Get this thread. I always feel like I cut my threads and somehow, some way, one pops out of nowhere. And then when I stand up, I'll have like a row, some like tons of threads all over me. Okay, so then now we're going to fold this on half on itself. And you're going to pop a few clips. Because I have lined fabric, so you want to match the lines as best as possible. So everyone's like, your lines are really wonky. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to stitch 1/8 of an inch on the side that's open that we just clipped. There might be some maneuvering after to move the swivel clasp out of the way. That's fine. One-eighth of an inch. You can increase your stitch length if the bulk is a lot. I'm going to maneuver my swivel clasp up and out of the way so I can finish this top stitching. Okay. Okay. I have like threads everywhere. Cutting the threads, cutting the threads. All right. Then I'm going to put a rivet oh, I'm going to punch a hole and put a rivet on to keep the swivel clasp in one area. Okay. Grab my rivet press I got from Minkus and Margot. Minkus Margot on Etsy. And we are done. Did you see how fast that came together? Now you're gonna be pumping them out. Like, these would be good at craft shows, bazaars, Christmas festivals. Great gifts to give people. I had to. We'll put this on. I still put. Well, who says this? Okay, so you can do this. You can increase the strap, or it could be a longer one. But this is super duper cute. So zipper, nice clean finish in the inside, and you can explore your opportunities and options for the outside. So we learned how to make the Magda from Ora Rosa. If you have questions in reference to this tutorial, please leave comments down below and I'll be more than willing to answer them. If you have any questions on any of the tools that I make, I use, or whatever, please leave a comment and I'll definitely tell you where I get my stuff at. So if you can like, subscribe, and comment down below and hit that notification bell and share if you think this video is worthy, it really helps out this channel tremendously. Until the next time I see you, happy sewing. Goodbye.